The UN's High Commissioner for Refugees has urged that all safeguards be in place before the EU begins to return refugees who make it to Greece back to Turkey. A record number of refugees have been reaching its shores in an attempt to eventually enter into Western Europe. But Greece was supposed to start returning them to Turkey by a deadline of Monday. But that plan is looking hopeless, and the concerns of the UNHCR could be another stumbling block. The EU Commission is calling on member states to provide resources and technical equipment to Greece by Friday. But already Greece has delayed its implementation of the deal because it hasn't received the help it needs to start the process. Well, under the plan, the EU will admit one Syrian refugee for every failed asylum seeker it returns to Turkey. But there are already 50,000 refugees stranded in Greece. And the EU Commission estimates that Greece will need around 4,000 personnel to put the asylum deal into place. Let's get more on this and speak to Maria Kagkelidou. She joins us live from Athens. Maria, will Greece be able to enforce this deal and return migrants to Turkey by the start of Monday?
It is, I have to say, very doubtful. Greek officials here a bit taken aback up to a certain extent by the confirmation, the announcement by the European Union that 500 migrants would be returned on April the 4th. This is part of a deal that stipulated that anybody entering Greece after March 20th would have to file an asylum application here in Greece, and if this was not accepted, they would have to be returned. There is a target set to send the first batch of migrants back on April the 4th, as I said, on Monday. But for the time being, it seems that this is a very, very ambitious target. Traditionally, Greek authorities have taken weeks, if not months, if not years, to process asylum applications. They need another 2,300. Originally, 4,000 EU personnel were supposed to arrive. A few have arrived. At the moment, they need another 2,300 to join them. Some will be arriving today, but still there is a huge, they're behind on personnel, they're behind on equipment. And there is, meanwhile, refugees and migrants arriving in Greece every day. What officials here have been saying, and what many people here believe, is that this Monday, we will see some sort of a symbolic gesture. The EU wants to make clear that it is no longer acceptable for people to cross the Greek border and then continue on their way north to Northern Europe. And as a result, I think the authorities here, Frontex, will be handling this, the Greek authorities, and the EU will try to make some sort of gesture by sending at least a small number of migrants back to say, listen, we signed this just over 2 weeks ago, and this is what is happening now. This is no longer an acceptable route into Western Europe, and it would be better for you, at least if you're Syrian, to remain in Turkey and attempt to cross into Europe from there. There's also other issues here. The Greeks haven't managed to pass the relevant legislation is passing through Parliament today. Some Syriza, that is the ruling party MPs, disagree with this whole concept. So all in all, there's a number of hurdles ahead, and we will have to see what will happen and if this deal will really be implemented on the ground.
And Maria, how exactly are these refugees in Greece doing? Because we're hearing reports that clashes are now breaking out in a number of areas in Greece where these refugees are being held. What is going on there?
Many here are saying that this was to be expected. There is over 40,000 people stranded in mainland Greece. Now, these people do not fall under the terms of this new agreement, which means they are not going to be returned immediately. But what will happen to them is very, very uncertain. They're refusing to leave the Greek-Macedonian border. Over 10,000 are concentrated there. Others are refusing to leave the port of Piraeus, and no one really knows what is going to happen to them and when any decision is going to be made. So there's been clashes in Piraeus, there's been clashes over in Idomeni camp just by the border with Macedonia. And then there is over 6,000 people currently trapped in the Greek islands. Now, according to this latest deal, they would have to be returned. They object to this. They try to break down the fence yesterday on the island of Chios, and there is also again tensions running high. So we've seen also altercations between them. I think until these people are given some sort of straight answers about what is going to happen and when it is going to happen, it is highly likely that we're going to be seeing some sort of generalized unrest, especially in these makeshift refugee camps like the one at the border and the one in Piraeus.
OK, Maria, many thanks for that. Maria, our reporter, joining us live from Athens.